everybody, Leighton here, back with another writing vlog. So this week was kind of my first week trying out this whole part-time job thing and then also doing part-time of freelance stuff. Obviously I'm just starting out, so there's not too much to update you guys on, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. So what I'm doing as a part-time job is actually mostly just a summer thing. You know, they're not gonna need me for the whole year, unfortunately, so I am gonna have to find another part-time job eventually, but for now we'll just work with what we've got. And it's a job that I've done before. 2 other summers I've done this job, so it's nice, you know, to go into something that I'm familiar with, and it's pretty easy, it's very monotonous, but it gives me a lot of time to brainstorm for new book ideas and other projects, so that's nice at least. But yeah, it's kind of awful in that I'm a creative person and it's a desk job that requires little to no mental effort, like at all. So it's very much me sitting there flipping through papers, scanning them, putting them into the right place in an e-folder, and then just checking to make sure everything's marked correctly. But it's one of those things where I have to be aware enough that if there is a mistake, I catch it. But the problem is there's not usually mistakes, so it's mostly just me being aware of how few mistakes there actually are. So it gets very monotonous after a while, but I've found times where I'm able to, while I'm uploading the scans into this e-folder, I'm able to, you know, brainstorm book ideas. I got a really good idea for this one series that I want to work on. Freelance-wise, so far I have set myself up on Fiverr, which is a freelance website where people can put out different gigs. So the gigs that I have available right now are where somebody could commission me to write fan fiction for them. So, you know, if they had a really good idea for a piece of fan fiction, but they don't feel confident that they could do it justice, they come to me, they pay me a tiny amount of money. I don't charge too much, I mean, it's fan fiction. But they come to me, they have me write the fan fiction, and then I post it on AO3 for them. I'm also offering chapter critiques, so the first 1, 3, or 5 chapters of a book I will critique, because, you know, those are the most important chapters of a book. If those don't catch a reader's attention, you're screwed, you know? So I'm offering critiquing service on those, which is basically kind of like a developmental edit, just instead of putting the feedback like in the actual document, you know, and highlighting stuff and recommending changes. It's just an overall, I read it and then I write up a paragraph where I'm like, this worked well, I think this could have been done differently, but overall it was great, or overall I think it needs work, you know, so that kind of thing. And then I'm also offering real developmental edits. So I'm offering them in different packages. So I'll edit a novella for a certain amount of money, and then I will edit a short novel for a certain amount, and then a larger novel for a certain amount. And then I can do custom orders, you know, if somebody was like, oh, my book is 110,000 words long, but you only go up to 100,000. I'd be like, okay, here's a custom order with, you know, it's an extra price. So yeah, those are the freelance services I'm offering right now. And then I'm gonna be looking into and researching more opportunities to freelance. You know, I don't know everything that's out there yet. I just kind of started out with the basics, the things I felt confident I would be able to do. So if any of you guys have any recommendations for any freelance services that I could possibly provide, please make sure to leave them in the comment section below, because I could totally use any recommendations. And also, if any of you are looking for somebody to help you with any of the services that I already do provide, I will leave the link to my Fiverr account in the description so you can check that out and hire me. That'd be great, that'd be cool, that'd be swell. Okay, so then the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about today was something that I have decided. This was a very, very hard decision for me to make. Because you never like it when you put so much of your heart and soul into something and then it feels like it's amounting to nothing. But you know, when I made this YouTube channel and when I decided to make it a writing channel where I documented my experience with trying to become a published author. I made a promise to myself that I would share the good, the bad, and the ugly with you guys, even if it meant I looked bipolar by changing my attitudes, you know, every other week. Because when you do only get one vlog a week, it may seem like I'm going through these really dramatic shifts in mood and morale between, oh yeah, everything's great, and oh no, everything sucks. But you know, there's a full week in there that's making these emotions change. But you know, I decided to tell you guys the truth, the full truth about, you know, what was happening with me and my journey, because this wasn't about making myself look good, you know, and making myself seem like I have it all figured out and that I have myself put together and that I know exactly what I'm doing and everything I'm doing is right, you know. This writing is such a fluctuating thing. You know, there's so many things that go into it, and if even one of those things happens to change, everything changes. And so in this case, I'm the one who changed. I changed a lot between when I wrote that first draft of the Caspian Chronicles, which is great. It's magnificent. I changed as a person, I grew as a person, and I also changed and grew as a writer. And so I think that part of the reason why I've been having so much trouble, and I don't know if I've told you guys everything about how much trouble I was really having with the Caspian Chronicles. I know that I've mentioned, you know, going on a hiatus of working on it and how I've been trying to figure out what was missing and trying to fix certain things and how, oh, I think this change this time is it. This is the thing that's gonna make it work. And then there's always something wrong with it still, and it's something at its core. And so as I took this hiatus, you know, where I didn't work on it at all for the month of May, I've come to realize how much I have changed as a writer, and frankly, I'm so much better than the Caspian Chronicles. That's not to say this series is bad and that I don't ever want to write it, because that's not at all what I'm saying. I think the concept for the series is solid. I'm so proud of myself for coming up with this series, this concept, all of these characters and these plot lines and secondary plot lines and this world that I built. I'm so proud of myself, and there's no way in hell I'm gonna let that go forever. So this isn't me saying that I'm tossing the Caspian Chronicles in the garbage and never looking back, because I don't think there's a way in hell that I would be able to do that, you know? But I decided that I need a much bigger break from it than just a month. And it's hard not to get emotional about it because it's been in my life for so long. And again, I put so much of my heart and soul into this book and into this series, so much plotting and writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting, editing and rewriting again has gone into it. And now it's just like, first of all, it changed so much from my initial concept, and I don't know if every change that I made was good and if it was right for the series. I don't know if some of it was influenced by my fear of what people would think if I wrote a certain thing or a certain way. And also, you know, I just think part of it was along the way sometimes, especially when you work on a book for so long, things get lost. So with that being said, I definitely think that there's a lot of soul searching that needs to go into finding the core of the Caspian Chronicles again and really figuring out what I want to do with it and letting go of those fears and anxieties about what people will think and if it'll ever get published. I have to stop thinking about books as if it will get me published or not, because, you know, there's no way to really predict that. I mean, there's people who claim that they can kind of tell where the market's going, and great for them, but in the end, you know, you never know what's gonna sell and what's not. But yeah, I think I was just putting too much pressure on the Caspian Chronicles, putting too much pressure on myself writing this book. And I changed, you know, and all of those things compiled together led me to make the decision that I need to put it aside for now and that I need to work on other things that I'm more passionate about, because I wasn't allowing myself to work on other things because I was like, I have to finish the Caspian Chronicles so that I can query it and then get an agent and then get it published. And I was just so focused on that series that, you know, I wasn't giving attention to these other books that, you know, I was writing in my spare time for classes, but I wasn't really seriously working on as a potential next novel because, I don't know, in my head I was like, I gotta finish the Caspian Chronicles first. That's just what's gotta happen. But, you know, since I made the decision to put it aside, I have actually started working on a new novel. It's not the one that was similar to autobiography. I also shelved that one just because, again, I just can't be worrying and thinking about what other people are gonna think of my book. You know, I just have to write it, and I have to distance myself from other people's opinions, which is why, and people may or may not have noticed, I don't know how many of you on YouTube follow me on all of my other social medias, but I did take a hiatus from those as well because they were just stressing me out too much. I was seeing all the stuff by agents and writers and readers, and it was all stuff like, oh, this book is problematic because of this, and if you're an author and you do this, you're awful, and oh, I would never read a book that does this, and agents going, oh, you know, you should do this or you shouldn't do this, and there's so many contradicting opinions, and it was just getting in my head too much. And I know that you need to take people's advice seriously, especially agents. You know, I'm not discrediting them, but it's the contradicting advice that was really getting to me, because I just, you know, was like, what am I allowed to write or what aren't I allowed to write? And, you know, I just, once I've distanced myself from that and I don't have those imaginary voices screaming at me all the time from social media, I definitely feel more free to write what I feel like I want to write. And I think I'm gonna go slow. You know, I'm gonna start with a book that's relatively safe. That's the book I'm working on right now. But it's also a book that I'm very passionate about, and I think it deserves to be written, and I'm really happy about it. I think it's gonna be a fun novel, and I'm excited to write it and query it. I'm definitely hoping that it's not gonna take 4 years like the Caspian Chronicles did. And that's another reason why I chose to do a contemporary, because it's definitely easier than a fantasy. Fantasy is all world building and keeping everything straight in your head and, you know, series Bibles and stuff, whereas a one-off contemporary is just like, whoosh, there we go, that was easy. I mean, not easy, but it's like a vacation compared to writing fantasy and sci-fi, let me tell you. And then while I'm writing this contemporary, I'm going to be brainstorming and outlining this other series that I have been wanting to write, which is an urban fantasy series, which my dad actually kind of helped me come up with some of the ideas for it, and I think it's really cool. So that's going to be my next project, but I'm going to focus on this contemporary first. I'm going to write the first draft, and then it'll go into the editing stage and the beta stage. And I think I'm probably going to start recruiting real beta readers, you know, not just friends and family. I know I've been so afraid of people stealing my ideas if I get beta readers, but, you know, I think I just gotta bite the bullet, because I'm not getting the feedback that I need from the people who are closest to me, because they've got things going on, and unfortunately, my books aren't their biggest concern. Wow, imagine that. My books aren't somebody else's biggest concern. But, you know, there's people out there who love to beta read, and they love to be a part of that creative process. So I'm going to start recruiting those kinds of people. So if you are that kind of person, stay tuned, because, again, I'm hoping that this book is going to go way faster than the first Caspian Chronicles book, because by now I've written one novel. It was something that I wrote in high school that was not definitely like the shortest end of the novel spectrum. I think it was hardly more than 50,000 words. But then I also now have written the first Caspian Chronicles book. So I've written like 1.5 books. So I know how it works now, and I feel more confident in myself to be able to write it, and I think write it quickly. Definitely, again, because I've grown as a writer, I feel like it'll be easier, and also because I've grown as a person, I'm able to be more strict with myself and get myself to write it and get it done in a decent amount of time. But yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I definitely didn't mean it to be this huge thing, but I guess what I really want to make sure of is that you guys know that you're not watching somebody who's got it all figured out, and hopefully that's why you're here, because maybe you're in the same position as me and you don't feel like you have it all figured out, and I want you to know you don't have to. You don't have to have it all figured out. I sure as hell don't, but hopefully you don't hold these high standards for me, and I won't hold high standards for you. You know, I won't expect you to write a book in a month and have it published the next day, and hopefully you won't expect the same from me, and you won't be disappointed with me. You may be disappointed that you won't get to read the Caspian Chronicles for a while, pretty long while probably, but don't be disappointed in me for setting it aside, because you know, sometimes that's just what you have to do. And you know, I've seen online people talking about how they wrote 5 books before they got one represented by an agent, and I think I've finally come to accept that. I think I was so hell-bent on Caspian Chronicles being my first book, my debut novel, and I just don't think it was meant to be. I think it was a good learning experience, but I think that I need to accept that I have grown as a writer and that it doesn't deserve to be my debut novel. And who knows, when I write it again next time and I get more things about it figured out and I really figure out where I want to take it, it may be my magnum opus. It may be the best series that I ever come out with. It could be the next Harry Potter, who knows? But if I publish it now, it would not be that. It would not even represent who I am as a writer right now. So I just don't think it's smart to try to publish it right now. So that's where I'm at with everything. And yeah, I hope you guys understand, and I'd really appreciate your support on all of this, because again, it's so hard for me to set this series aside when I have poured myself into it. But I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about making these changes in my creative life and pushing forward and writing new books. The idea of writing new books is very exciting for me, and I'm really looking forward to what I know is to come. I predict great success for myself in terms of writing good books and hopefully getting them published, I don't know, but definitely writing great books, writing things that I'm proud of. That's what I predict success for myself in, writing books that I'm proud of. Another thing that I'm changing is this stupid ending ramble that I do, because it's too much and I'm tired of saying it all and editing it. So we're gonna narrow it down right now. We're gonna change a few things in my life, including this ending ramble. So here we go. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button, and make sure that you're following me on all of my social medias. I have Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram, which are all linked in the description. I also have a blog, readwritelovefiction.com, and an author website, LeightonJWilliams.com. Both have awesome content on them, so if you're interested in that, please go check those out as well. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!